Hi guys, and welcome to Alistair Davies Golf. Today I'm at the Forest of Arden at my teaching studio, and I'm bringing you a response to a comment on my YouTube page. So feel free to knock any comments down there you want, and I'll be sure to try and answer as many of them as I can and produce a nice video for you on the answer if it's appropriate. So today's kind of question was about looking at what would happen if we try and jump at impact with the driver. Particularly to do with like distance and what changes in kind of impact conditions really of a player. So to do this test, what I did was invite one of my younger players to come along and hit some golf balls, purely because I thought if I try and jump at impact, it's going to make a minimal difference, because I'm not capable of really changing my club head speed that much, hitting it harder or softer when I've tried before. So I thought it would be a better test if I got one of my good young players, young Henry, who plays off +2, to come and hit some golf balls for us. So what will follow this introduction is some shots, some videos of Henry hitting some golf balls from various different angles, and then I'll come back to you and talk to you through the Trackman data that changed when he hit golf balls in a different manner, and we can have a look and see what happened. So keep watching to see the results. Let's have a look at the Trackman data that Henry produced when he hit the shots for me. So when we look at his club head speed, which in theory was the biggest thing I wanted to see from this test, when he hit his normal shots, he produced 112.5 mile an hour, which is kind of tour average for speed on the European Tour. So obviously Henry's a good player and he produces decent speed naturally. Well, he's worked hard at it, but that's his natural speed if you like stepping up there. When I asked him to jump at impact, get, feet airborne if you like, and hit it as hard as he could, his speed increased to 118.6 mile an hour average, and he actually got a few in the 120s, but 116 average is what he produced, so an increase of 6.1 mile an hour. So quite a nice increase, and that will make a difference to his distance as long as he maintains the strike. In terms of angle of attack, he increased it by 0.02 degrees. He hit more up on the golf ball. So in terms of that, the golf club was ascending when he was hitting the golf ball by 2.4 degrees and 2.2 degrees in the standard drive. His club path actually got straighter when he hit it harder. So his normal path was 3.7 degrees in to out, which would be to the right hand side like this. A little bit too much for me as a good player, that will be. And when he hit the jumping one, that improved to 2.7 degrees, which is much nearer where I'd want it. For a good player, I'd be looking for this to be 2 degrees or less for me, to make sure we can hit plenty of fairways, plenty of greens. In terms of his face control, the face got more open when he hit it harder, and the actual face-to-path relationship was narrowed, so that improved. So, in terms of kind of path and face, things got better when he hit it harder. So sometimes being more committed will improve the ability to just naturally get through the golf ball. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. In terms of his launch angle increased by 3.4 degrees, so he's launching it higher. In terms of his spin, he actually reduced his spin, so the ball flight changed slightly. He launched it high and spun it less. So a little bit more that kind of rainbow flight as opposed to the slight more climbing flight. Albeit his spin on his original ones and launch angle his original ones is pretty good too. So both ball flights are good, just a slight difference in ball flights. Its vertical swing plane decreased, so it's 49.6 with his original one, which is kind of this kind of look. I'm exaggerating things, but the club head will be tilted more that way. Again, the ideal number would be between 45 and 47 for me, so the club head will sit more that way. When he hit the ball harder, this improved to 48.6 degrees, so 1 degree better. So I'll talk to you about my theory behind why that improved in a second. The smash factor remained the same, so his ability to hit the ball pretty much centered remained the same. I'd like him to hit it more centered, so a slightly higher smash factor than that. He's losing a few yards from contact. And the carry distance increased by 32.1 yards, from 267 yards to 299 yards. And his total distance increased as well by just under 30 yards also. So when young Henry hit the ball kind of as hard as he could and jumped at it, he increased his distance by 30 yards. So why is that useful? Apart from the obvious hitting it further, if he's on a hole where he knows he has to carry trouble, say at 280, he now knows with the jumper swing he will carry that trouble. So if there's bunkers or water and he can just stand there and hit it as hard as he can and carry all the trouble and leave himself like a wedge in from the rough, that might be a better play than hitting like a 3-iron or 2-iron to the corner of the trouble and then hitting a longer iron onto the green. The stats would show the closer we get to the green, the lower our scores become. So as long as we're coming out of a rough with a short iron, it doesn't make as much difference as coming out of a rough with a long iron. So it's all to do with the strategy in which he would then endorse for different holes and different situations and why. So he needs to take that information on board. In terms of Henry's dispersion, as you'll see from what the diagram will show, he actually hit it straighter and hit it harder. Now my theory with Henry is because his path is from in to out, when he hit the ball harder and kind of jumped at it, his path came a little bit more left because he jumped out the way a little bit and rotated out the way a little bit better. So this in turn helped him with his vertical swing plane, helped him with his path, and narrowed his path to face relationship down. So that's why he hit the ball straighter. I would say this is a little bit rare, but it's certainly worth investigating in everybody's game. If when you hit the ball harder, your data, your impact conditions get better, then it's something to be considered to do all the time. In terms of young Henry, I'd want him probably to hit the long, hard ball occasionally, but not all the time. I'd want him to, have the fairway finder in the system, have the bomber in the system, and maybe a stock driver in the system, and then pick and choose what drive to hit and what hole because of the situation, the length of the hole, the trouble on the hole, where his go zones are, if you like, rather than the trouble. So we work the theory of towardance, not avoidance. And then try and basically plot his way around the golf course from there, but be aggressive when it calls to be aggressive. So if he can drive a green, let's drive the green. If he can get past all the trouble and hit into a wide spot, let's do that also. So it's about picking and choosing the strategy for the hole and the situation. But understanding what we get when we do different things is majorly important, and that's the main thing really from this test. Henry now knows his numbers. And I'd encourage you guys to go to the golf course in that environmental situation and hit it hard and soft, which is what I'm going to do with Henry also. Because even the environment with this particular trouble on certain situations, when he hits it hard, if the accuracy decreases, then there's something that we wouldn't do. Okay, but we still have it in the locker for certain situations. So if you can't do it on the golf course, do it in the practice area. Create dispersion charts. Just draw out where the balls go, the distance and the accuracy. Use a Trackman if you can. Fantastic device. If you can get on Trackman, do it on Trackman. So, hope you've enjoyed your video. Hope you've enjoyed this video rather. If you have, please click like down below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I've got regular content coming every single week. And please post any comments down below, especially if videos you want me to cover. I'd love to come back with a video for you, specifically for you as soon as I can. And thanks for watching.